I wrote a book called The 5 Levels of Leadership. Okay, it's a bestseller. It's in the corporate world. It sold millions of copies. But when I started doing the 5 levels of leadership, I started clear back in the late 1980s. And leadership was not a dynamic word back then. In fact, if you would go into a bookstore, you wouldn't even find a leadership book there. You'd find management books. And, Peter Drucker, the management guru, in fact, he mentored me. It was management. And so when I said I want to teach the 5 levels of leadership, nobody wanted to hear it. And so all of a sudden I said, I want to teach the 5 levels of influence. And the seminar became a huge success. I traveled literally around the world teaching the 5 levels of influence. How do you increase your influence? And how do you go step by step, level by level, until you really have the influence that you want to have to be able to sell, to market, to influence the people around you? And so what I'm going to teach is the laws of leadership. And before I give you the foundation of this, and let me just say, I need to say 2 things. I wrote a book called The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, and one of the laws in that book is the law of the lid, L-I-D. And the law of the lid just very simply says how well you lead determines how well you succeed. That's so true. How well you influence determines how well you succeed. And we all have a leadership lid. And my leadership lid is, I don't know what it is, but from a 1 to a 10, there's a certain level of leadership competence I have. And let's say I'm an average leader from a 1 to 10. Let's say I'm a 5 out of a 1 to 10. That means that what my business is, my sales, my influence, it's all going to come here, and it's going to be confined. It's going to be held down by my leadership lid. And so if I'm a 5 leader, average, my success, influence, my business is going to be a 4. Let me tell you what's never happened in the history of the world. It's never happened where I was a 5 leader, and my business, my influence, just rose above that lid, and I just kept growing. That's never happened in the history of the world, so it's not going to happen with you. It's just not going to happen with me. So it's very important for us to understand how to lift our lid, because, because I'm asked by people all the time. They'll say, John, are leaders born? And, I always laugh and say, of course they are. I've never met an unborn leader, okay? But what they're really asking is not, are leaders born? They're really asking is that, when you come into this world, are there some people they're going to lead, and so they get to go in the front of the line, and some people they got to follow, so they go in the back of the line. And what I want you to know is that you can learn to be a leader. You can learn to lead better than you lead today. And I know that because I have the largest leadership training company in the world. We've trained 6 million leaders in every country of the world. Okay, so we got leadership development down. We got it. So if you're 5 as a leader, then your influence factor, your sales factor, your business, it's going to be a 4. But if you can learn to lead better, you can go from a 5 to a 6 to a 7, maybe up to an 8. Now, as soon as I lift that ceiling, guess what happens to my influence, my business, my sales? They follow my leadership. And that's essential for me as I'm getting ready to teach you the 5 levels of leadership for you to understand. You can lift your lid. You can lead better tomorrow than you are today, but you have to know how to do it. I'm going to show you how to do that in a moment. The second law in the 21 laws of leadership that I want to talk about just a moment is the law of process. And the law of process just simply says leaders develop daily, not in a day. So this is not a quick fix. This is not like a lecture and you hear it and an hour later you're just going to be an amazing person or amazing leader. But there is a process that helps us to really learn how to lead that makes us successful. And it's the process I'm going to teach you now, because the 5 levels of leadership is a process. How do you and I go from level 1 to level 2 to level 3 to level 4 to level 5? So what I'm going to do is, while I teach you this, every once in a while there'll be a visual that will come on the screen that'll kind of help you see each level visually, and then of course it'll come back to me and I'll teach it. So let's start with level 1. It's the first level. And I call level 1 the position level. And there's a word that goes with this leadership position. When you get a leadership position, the word that I associate with that is rights. I mean, you get certain rights. In other words, very simply, once you get a leadership position, you have certain rights where people, they follow you because they have to. And why do they have to follow you? Because you're the designated leader. So they're in your department, they're in your group, and so you're the designated leader. So pretty much every day I follow you. I may not like you. You may not even be a good leader, but you have this title and you have a position. Now, this is the lowest level of leadership, and here's the problem. It's the lowest level leadership, but most people think it's the highest level. And so therefore, when they get a leadership position, they get all excited and say, oh my gosh, I just became a leader. No, you didn't become a leader. You just got a leadership position. There's a difference between having a leadership position and being able to lead well. In fact, I often say the position doesn't make the leader makes the position. And so this is absolutely huge because we all start here. By the way, there's nothing wrong with level 1. We all start we get a leadership position in the company. You probably have done that at Fortinet. Now, here's what I want you to understand. It's a place to start. It's not a good place to stay. And yet most people, because they think leadership is position or title, when they get a position and title, they just say, well, I'm a leader. They may be, they may not be. I don't know. But I know this. If you just hold on to level number 1 and you don't advance and you don't grow and you don't develop, then your leadership influence, which is key in sales, obviously, is going to be very, very limited. It's a place to start. It's not a place to stay. Now, what's wonderful about having a leadership position is it gives you an opportunity to practice leadership. And this is huge because how do you develop yourself as a leader? How do I develop myself as a leader? By practice. People don't become leaders by what they know. They don't become leaders by what they read. They don't even become leaders by hearing a lecture like I'm giving you right now. They only become leaders by practicing leadership. And one of the beautiful things about level 1 is because you're a designated positional leader, it gives you an opportunity to practice leadership. It gives you an opportunity to find out if people do follow you, to find out if you can help people and lift them, and to find out if people do like your ideas and want to go where you're going, and they want to do what I'm doing. So when you look at level 1, the position level, don't rest on it. Don't take level 1 and say, okay, now I've arrived. And you instead take the position and the mindset, I am now in a position to really develop my leadership. I can practice my leadership. I can try leading. I can begin to grow. I can begin to develop myself. And it's so, this is a great opportunity. If you've just got a position of leadership in Fortinet, be grateful and say, okay, now that I have a leadership position, I'm going to practice leadership. It's in the practicing of leadership that you begin to develop yourself and you begin to develop others. Okay, so we start with position. Don't make the mistake of thinking that makes you a leader. It just gives you leadership opportunity. Level number 2 is where things really begin to change. Level number 1 is the position level. The key word is rights, and people follow you because they have to. Now let me show you level number 2. Level number 2 is the permission level, and the key word in permission is relationships. And on level number 2, people follow you because they want to. Now we have just made a big jump. We've begun with a level 1 leader who has a position, and because he or she has that position, people have to follow them. So they get in line. You may be a good leader, you may be a terrible leader, I don't know. But here's what I know. At level number 1, when you just have a leadership position, there's very little energy at that level. In fact, at level 1, people are always asking themselves this question: what's the least I have to do to stay on the team? They're not asking how much can I give, how much can I do? And here's the reason why. Level 1 has no energy to it. You show me a positional company, and I'll show you a company that has no energy to go beyond what's expected, so therefore they never excel. That's level 1. But all of a sudden, when you get to level 2, it begins to change. Somebody asked me the other day, it said, John, describe a level 1 company. And the best way I can describe a level 1 positional company is that if quitting time is at 5 o'clock, at 4:30, people are clearing their desk. They're in a countdown mode. They've been waiting all day for their, they want to say, well, why are they clearing their desk? Because at 5 o'clock, they want to make a fast exit. So they're clearing their desk, and, 4:40, they're walking around saying goodbye to everybody, and 4:50, they're going to the restroom, and 4:55, they're sitting in they're putting their track shoes on, man. They're getting down in a starting position. They think they're Cape Canaveral. They're in a countdown mode. 5, 4, 3, 2. And at 5 o'clock, they're all gone. They're all gone. In fact, you walk through the office at 5:03, and it's a ghost town, and you say, what happened? Then you run to the window and you look out. You look out there, and the last car in the parking lot's peeling out. Now, what happened? It's very simple. You see, at level number 1, people are always going to give you their least, because they're not following you because you're good. They're following you because you have a position, a title of leader. Level 2, here's where the magic begins. Just like level 1 lacks energy, level 2 is full of energy. Now, why is there energy at level 2? Because of relationships. At level 2, people follow you not because they have to. They follow you because they want to. And why do they follow you? They follow you because you like them and they like you. And you're developing a connection and you're developing a relationship. And when people begin to like each other, now all of a sudden, they give more energy to the project. Hey, at 5 o'clock, they're not clearing their desk. They may still be around the table discussing something that's going to help build the business even better. What has happened? The relationship has caused the connection, which has created the energy. So I tell leaders, as soon as possible, get off of level 1. Now, when I say get off of level 1, that doesn't mean you lost your title. But these levels, what you want to understand is they build on each other. So level number 2 has a foundation under it. It has a level 1 under it. And the higher you go on the levels, the bigger your foundation, the more solid your foundation, the deeper your foundation, so that your leadership continually strengthens. So at level number 2, people follow you because they want to. And so this is where leaders connect with their people. You see, here's the difference. If I'm a positional level, it's your job on the team to connect with me. If I'm a permissional level, and I call that level number 2 permission because the people give you permission to lead them because they like you. They didn't get a choice on level 1, but on level 2, they do. So if I'm on the permission level and you like me and I like you, the energy begins to increase. Now we're beginning to connect. And there are 3 characteristics of a level 2 leader that I want to make sure that you get, because this is essential for you to be successful. This is essential for you to lift that leadership lid I talked about a few minutes ago. Here are the 3 things that leaders do really well at level number 2 to connect and relate with the people. Number 1 is that they listen. The best leaders are the best listeners. In fact, here's what I've discovered about leadership. Great leaders ask great questions. In fact, I wrote a book on that a few years ago. And it's just a fact. Great leaders ask good questions. Now, why are they asking questions? Because they're trying to find their people. Remember this, as a leader, you have to find your people before you can lead your people. Again, level 1, you're the position leader. You say, you find me. Level 2, no, I'm going to find you. And how do we find you? We find you by asking questions. And when we ask questions, what do these leaders do? They do 3 things. They listen, they learn, and then they lead. Don't miss this. They get all of their leadership cues by listening to you. They walk slowly through the crowd. They're listening to what you think. They're asking you questions. They're asking you, how would you do this? And what do you think about this? And they're asking your opinion, and they're inclusive, and they're bringing you, here, sit at the leadership table with me. Let's talk a while. So they listen, they learn, and then they lead. Now their leadership is effective. Why? Because they found you. And once a person has been found, once a person has been heard, they now really enjoy being part of the team. This is essential for connecting with people. And so on level number 2, your goal as a leader is to really find the people, listen to them, learn from them, and now you lead off of them. You see, let's talk about vision for a second. How does vision expand? How do we take the vision from me to we? Because the vision has to always go beyond you. People need to have ownership of the vision until they talk about, this is what we are trying to accomplish, not this is what they want to accomplish, not what he or she wants to accomplish. It's, hey, we want to accomplish this. Well, how do we take the vision from me to we? It's done on level 2 relationally when you listen to people. Because when you listen to people, you begin to lead according to where they are, and all of a sudden, you're connecting with them, and they're having an ownership in the journey. So a level 2 leader is a relational leader, and they become relational by listening and by learning and then by leading. That's one. The second characteristic of a level 2 leader is that they observe well. They really watch. They watch. I had a wonderful mentor, John Wooden, who was declared by Sports Illustrated in the last century as the greatest coach. He was the coach of UCLA Bruins, and had 10 national championships, and for several years, he and I were close, and he just mentored me and taught me so many things. And Coach Wooden would look at his players, and he would say to them, "Don't tell me what you're going to do. Show me what you're going to do." And he would say, "John, anybody can say anything." He said, in fact, he wouldn't name even the captain of his basketball team at the beginning of the season. He wanted his players to play a few games, and then he picked the captain because he said, "John, I got to watch the players play. I got to find out during the tight game when the game's on the line and there's just a few seconds left." He said, I got to find out who wants the ball, who wants to take responsibility to win this game for us." He said, "Don't tell me what you're going to do. Show me what you're going to do." It's at level number 2, this relationship level, where you're listening, you're learning, you're leading, and you're watching your people. Because it's their actions, not their words, that determine the potential success of your department. It just is always that way. So level 2 leaders, they do a really good job of just kind of connecting, listening, and relating and observing to where the people are. The third thing a level 2 leader does really well, they not only observe well, they not only listen well. The third characteristic of a level 2 leader is that they serve really well. They like to serve their people. Now, that's totally opposite of a level 1 leader. You see, a level 1 leader wants to be served. I'm the leader, and so what have you done for me today? A level number 2 totally reverses this. And they say, no, what I really want to do is I want to serve you. And they do it by adding value to people. They every day serve. I have, in the John Maxwell Enterprise, we have 7 companies. And so I may be in a restaurant and somebody will walk up to me that I don't even know, and they'll shake my hand, they'll introduce themselves, and they'll say, I just got hired by your company. And they'd say, Mr. Maxwell, I work for you. And, I smile and I say, yeah, sit down here with me for a moment. Let's talk. I mean, let me help you. First of all, my name's John. I'm your friend. You don't need to call me Mr. Maxwell. I'm your friend. I said, secondly, you don't work for me. In fact, I work for you. In fact, we work for each other. I don't have slaves. I don't have people working for me. I have people working with me. I'm working with people. We're not enamored by titles. We're not enamored by position. I don't look at you and say, well, I don't work with you. I'm above you. Good Lord, you got to go down and work with the people. Like, no. There's a spirit of adding value. And by the way, you add value to people that you value. So it begins with the fact that we value everybody. And because we value everybody, we add value to people. And so I told him, I said, you don't work for me. I hope sometime I can serve you. I hope I can do something that will make your work even better. And if there is, let me know. And here's my cell number. Just call me if I can help you. Now, this is absolutely huge. Because now on level number 2, we are connected. We are relationally strong. And it gets into the fact that as a leader, level 2, I genuinely care for my people. I was asked to speak a few years ago to the opening session of the United Nations. And when I went to New York City, they asked me to speak to all the ambassadors of the world on leadership. And they said, we're going to give you 2 hours to do that. Well, that was a real challenge. It was a great opportunity, but I asked myself, how am I going to do this? I mean, we're having ambassadors from every country of the world that are going to be in this room. And they come from all kinds of cultures, different, and all kinds of government. I mean, we got democracies. We have kingdoms. We have kings. We got democracy. We have kingdoms. We got socialistic countries. If I'm going to talk about leadership, I got to get us all on the same page somehow. And I began to ask myself, well, how do I do that? How do I do that? So after giving it a lot of thought, I did a teaching that was really went well at the United Nations. And the teaching was, 3 questions followers ask of their leaders. And I said, this is regardless of country, culture, what kind of government you have. I said, if people are following you, they're really asking 3 questions about you. And you need to be able to answer these questions. And the 3 questions are very simple. Do you care for me? I mean, think about it. Do you really want to follow somebody that doesn't like you? Question number 2 is, can you help me? I mean, the reason that you're on the team, the reason you're following the leader is for that leader to help you. I mean, you need somebody to get you to the next level. So, can you help me? And then question number 3 is can I trust you? Can I trust you? Now, isn't it interesting, those 3 questions, do you care for me? That's a level 2 question. It's all about relationships. The third question, can I trust you? That's a level 2 question. The middle question, can you help me, is going to be a level 3 question, and I'll come to that in a few moments. Here's the point, and I don't want you to miss it. The point is very simple. If you're going to be a great leader, you have to relationally connect with your people. You got to love them. You got to care for them. You got to want to add value to them. You've got to serve them. And the moment that you begin to do all these things, your leadership just begins to be empowered and it begins to grow, and it goes to a whole new level. But why did it go to a whole new level? It went to a whole new level because now you have engendered trust. Trust is the foundation of great leadership. It's what people stand on. It's what people lean on. They want to be able to say, my leader is going to look out for the best for me, that my leader is going to do the right thing for me. That's why I tell leaders all the time, when you stop liking people, stop leading people, because now what are you going to do? You're going to manipulate people. You see, there's a fine line between manipulating people and motivating people. Let me explain to you what I mean by that. You see, leaders, what they all have in common is that they see more than others see, and they see before others see. That's just a fact. When I say leaders see more than others see, it means that they just have a bigger picture. That's a leader sees more. But a leader also sees before others see. Wow. In other words, I not only see a bigger picture, I see the picture quicker, sooner than others. Now, the fact that I can see before others see puts me at an incredible advantage, because if you can see something first, you can go after it while everybody else, they don't even know what they want. And so, it's huge when you get a head start. Leadership gives you a head start over others. So the question is not, are you going to have a head start? The question is, are you going to use it for your advantage, or are you going to use it for the advantage of others? You don't want to miss this. I remember several years ago, I was having a dinner with Gail Devers. And Gail Devers is the most decorated female track athlete in Olympic history in the United States. And she had literally won Olympic medals. She's a runner. She's speed. And she had won, I mean, it's just unbelievable. She had won medals in 3 different Olympics. In fact, the night I was having dinner with her and her husband, she was training for her 4th Olympic. I mean, she was running races against girls that were young enough to be her daughter. I mean, this is just an amazing leader. And so we're having a great conversation on leadership, because she had read some of my books and she had some questions she wanted to ask. And so I thought I would have fun toward the end. And I said, Gail, I think if you and I ran a race, like 100 yards, I said, I think I could win. And she just looked at me and said, you're kidding. I said, no. I said, no, I'm not kidding. I think I could win. In fact, she looked at her husband. She said, did you hear him? He thinks he can beat me in a race. And then she looks back and she looks at my body, and she can't put all this together. It's way beyond her. And she's about ready to take off her high heels and take me out front of this restaurant and, let me eat dust. And I looked at her and said, now, Gail, listen to me very carefully, because I've thought this through carefully. If you and I raced 100 yards and you gave me an 80-yard head start, I could win. Well, of course you could win if you have an 80-yard head start. Now, honestly, I wanted to say 70. I really did. I thought, man. But I wasn't sure if I had a 70-yard head start, I could really beat her. But for 80 yards, this fat boy could roll across the line. Just trust me, I could win. Now, here's the whole point of this little story. The fastest person doesn't win the race. It's the person who starts first. If you let a person get enough head start, they can win any race against any person. Leadership gives you a head start. It lets you see things before others see them. So now we've got this head start advantage. The question is, are we going to win the race for ourselves, or are we going to win the race for our people? And level 2 leaders, they care for their people. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. They care for their people in such a way that at level number 2, they really want their people to succeed. And so because of that, their people began to prosper. Their people began to learn. Their people began loving being on the team. Why is all this happening? Because relationships are working. And relationships are the foundation of leadership. So now we're developing ourselves as a leader, and we're about to go to level number 3. Remember, you don't leave the previous level, you stand on it. So the higher you go, the bigger, the better, the deeper your foundation of leadership. Level 1, position level. People follow you because they have to. That's where we start. No problem. You just don't want to stay there. Level 2 is the permission level. The key word there is relationships. People follow you because they want to. This is where energy happens. Energy happens at level 2 if you're a level 2 leader. But you still haven't gone as high as you can. You haven't yet become the leader as Fortinet says that you were meant to be. So let's go to level number 3. Level number 3 is all about production. It's the production level. And the key word at level number 3 is results. At this level, people follow you. People follow you because of what you've done for the organization. In other words, you are a producer. You know, when people talk about you, they talk about you in the fact that it's much better since you're on the team. Your bottom line is better. Your sales have increased. You're a producer. And this is an essential, important level to be on. And let me explain to you why. Level 3 is where you get the credibility to lead. Now, level number 2, because you like people and people like you, they let you lead. But at level 3, you now gain what I call leadership credibility. And what do I mean by that? It's very simple. Once you produce, once you are a personal success yourself, now people want to follow you. And why? Because you win. You succeed. You bring home results. I mean, Fortinet loves you because they look at you and you do good in sales and you just keep increasing the bottom line. And you increase the bottom line not by cutting the price of the product. You increase the bottom line because you're proven to add value to people. And once people know that you add value to them, you don't need to reduce the price of your project at all. I mean, you're worthy of the price if you can produce. And so level 3 is where credibility really allows you to have the privilege of leading. People begin to raise their hand and say, I would like to be on your team. Let me explain it this way. Let's say LeBron James and I were going to have a basketball game, and so we're with you right now, and we want a half a dozen of you to be on our side, and so LeBron's going to pick first. Now, he's one of the greatest basketball players that's ever played. So when LeBron looks out at the audience, you got your hand in the air and you're saying, choose me, choose me. Oh, LeBron, oh my gosh, pick me. Now, why do you want to be on LeBron James' team? Well, it's very simple. You know if he picks you, you're going to win because he's a great basketball player. Now, when it comes my turn to choose, you don't have your hands in the air. In fact, you're ducked behind chairs. You're hiding from me. You don't want me to pick you. You don't want a 75-year-old overweight man to pick you to be on the basketball team. You're hiding from me. You see, you want to be on the team that's going to win. Well, when you become a level 3 leader and you produce results, that's exactly what the team becomes. They become winners. And everybody wants to be on your team. Now, at level 3, there are 3 characteristics. Again, there are 3 qualities that level 3 leaders exhibit all the time, and people see them. Let me give them to you. Number 1 is you lead by example. You understand that the best leadership is not what you say. The best leadership is what you do. Now, at level 3, you do those things that bring results. So now it's show and tell time. It's just not telling people what you're going to do. It's showing people exactly what you have done. And now people they're convinced of following you because the proof is in the stats. The proof is in you now are leading by example. Why? Here the greatest The greatest motivational principle in the world is this one. People do what people see. That's a fact. So when people say, the people on my team, they're really not producing. You know why they're not producing? They don't see you producing. The moment that you begin to produce, the moment that you begin to bring home the results, now you are a visual example of how they can do it. Now, this is huge. You don't want to miss this. And so level 3, you gain the credibility to lead, not because of what you say. You gain the credibility to lead, but by what you are doing. There's a difference between a travel agent and a tour guide. A travel, if you want to go somewhere, you can call a travel agent. They can buy you tickets for your transportation. They can get your hotel. They can set up a tour. But when you think of a travel agent, that when you finally come to the office, they'll give you tickets and, have a great trip. And then they'll say, hey, take pictures. I've never been there before. You see, most leaders are like travel agents. They send people where they've never been themselves. You don't want to be a travel agent leader. You want to be a tour guide leader. Now, there's a difference. You see, the tour guide leader, they meet you at the bus and say, let's get on the bus together. I'm going to take you to museums in this city that I've been to hundreds of times. I've lived here my life. Just follow me. Just stay with me, and I'll make sure that you see things you've never seen and you experience things you never experienced. You want to be a tour guide leader. Level 3 leaders, they're tour guides. They basically say, get on the bus. I'm highly successful myself. I increase the bottom line for my company. I make a lot of money. Watch me. Follow me. Just, the greatest words a leader can share with his or her people are the words, follow me. The moment I can say that, I am a terrific leader because I have now the credibility of a leader, okay? Now, 3 characteristics of leaders at this level. I've given you one. They lead by example. The second characteristic of a leader on this level is that they create momentum. Level 3 leaders are momentum makers, okay? Now, in your company, you've got momentum makers. They're level 3 leaders. You also probably have some momentum takers. They suck the momentum out of your company, and you maybe even have a few momentum breakers. But level 3 is all about creating momentum. And so how does that happen? Because let me just say something about momentum for a moment. The greatest friend a leader has is momentum. Because momentum is a great exaggerator. Momentum has the ability to take something good and exaggerate it until people think it's amazing. And so leaders know that the greatest problem solver that they're ever going to have in their life is momentum. You see, managers try to solve problems. Leaders create momentum. Because what the leaders know is if they create momentum, honestly, the problems will be solved in the company. I mean, to illustrate that, let me just say that, let's take a train on a track. If that train is going 50 miles an hour down a track, okay, and in front of it is a barrier, okay, oh my gosh, I'm talking about a real obstacle here, a 5-foot thick concrete wall, steel reinforced, okay, that's a barrier. It's on the track. If that train is going 50 miles an hour, it can hit that concrete steel reinforced barrier. It can hit it, smash it, and knock it off the tracks and keep on going. Now, why was it able to have this problem, this obstacle on the tracks, smash it, and keep on going? It's because it had momentum. Momentum solved the problem. Momentum allowed that train to get through something that was almost like insurmountable. It was a pretty huge, mega barrier. Momentum allowed that train to keep going. That's the power of momentum. Now, that same train, let's say it's stopped dead on the tracks. It's not going anywhere. It's not moving. It's dead still, okay? If you put a 1-inch block, just 1 inch, in front of the driving wheels of that train, it can't get started. Now, isn't that interesting? Without momentum, a 1-inch block will keep the train from moving. Now, get this, don't miss this. Without momentum, a 1-inch obstacle is a real problem. With momentum, same train, same track, a 5-foot thick concrete, steel reinforced wall can't stop it. You see, that's why I tell people all the time, your problem is not your problem. But yet so many people, they get focused on problems. The problem that isn't a problem becomes a problem, not because it was a problem. The problem was they didn't know the problem wasn't a problem, and so they made a problem that wasn't a problem a problem. Okay, don't try to take notes on that. Let me talk to you for a moment. The problem isn't the size of the problem. Problems get fixed and taken care of. 80% of all problems in any company are solved with momentum. And at level number 3, that's what you have. You've got great momentum. You've got great thrust. You've got great power to overcome the obstacles of your company. Now, so far, we've talked about 3 levels of leadership. Level 1 is where we start. It's a good place to start, bad place to stay. It's the position level. People only follow you because they have to. Level 2 is the permission level. This is where relationships kick in. You like the people, they like you. Now people follow you because they want to. Energy happens at level 2. Energy. Now at level 3, that's the production level, and the key word there is results, and people now follow you because of what you've produced, what you've done for the company. And at level number 3, you get momentum. And with momentum, most of the problems are solved in the company. Let's put it this way. With momentum, leading is a lot easier. That's why in a sports contest, if one team really gets momentum on their side, what does the opposing coach do? Calls a timeout. Now, why does he call or why does she call a timeout? It's very simple. They're trying to break the momentum of the other team. They're trying to get them out of that rhythm. So level number 3 is where momentum happens. Level number 3, the third thing that happens at level 3, just one more quick thing is you attract better people to you because you produce. Let me explain it this way. Remember when I did in the beginning the law of the lid? And if you were a 5 leader with leadership competence, your company would be a 4. Okay, you got that. In the law of attraction, in my book, The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, this law of magnetism says you attract who you are, not who you want. Very true law. So here's what happens. If I'm a level 5 leader, I attract 4s, 3s, 2s, and 1s. What I don't attract to my team is a 9 or a 10. 9s and 10s don't follow 5s, never have, never will. But if I grow as a leader, I get up to a 6 and 7. Every time I grow as a leader, guess what? I attract a better person. So when you can produce, when you have the credibility of a person that gives results to your company, you're going to attract better people to you because it's like the little LeBron James illustration. People want to be on your team. Okay, so let's go to level 4. Now level number 4 is really, this is the level I really try to get people to go to. I mean, I know there's 5 levels of leadership, but I am very happy if I can get you to level number 4, because level number 4 is the people development level, okay? This is where you develop other people. And the key word at level number 4 is reproduction, okay? Now, people follow you not only because of what have you done for the organization. They not only follow you because they like you, they follow you because of what you have done for them personally. Because now they're a better person because you are a people developer. In other words, they're saying, I can tell you right now, when I came to the company, man, I wasn't very effective at all, but they took me under their wings and they trained me and they equipped me, and now look what I can do. And by the way, great loyalty happens at level 4 because people now look at you and say, personally, you've bettered my life. At level 3, you bettered the organization, but level 4, I'm a better person because of you. So this is a terrific level to be on, and it's really how the company thrives. Because if I were to ask you, if I could, 2 questions about the success that you have and the success you want your company to have, the 2 questions I would ask you is, what are you doing to develop yourself? And that's why I love the theme that you have for it, Nat, of helping people become a better leader. I would ask you, what are you doing to develop yourself? And the second question I would ask you is, what are you doing to develop the people on your team? Now, when you develop yourself and grow, you add. When you develop others, you multiply. And that's the difference between levels 3 in leadership and level 4. At level 3, you're getting better, you're producing, but you're adding. At level number 4, you're now compounding, you're multiplying. Because it's just not me producing, but I've got 6 people on my team, and we all are having a good year, and I'm developing leaders, and I'm teaching them how to develop other people. So we're going to keep multiplying ourselves, because only leaders can attract leaders, and only leaders can develop leaders. And you teach what you know, but you reproduce who you are. And so now at level number 4, we're really doing well, because I'm not only producing, but you're producing, and now we're training you to lead, and things just get better. So what is it at level 4, this 4th level of production? What is it at level 4 that makes it so magical? Well, there are 3 keys to reproducing people. There's 3 keys in developing people around you and developing leaders around you. And let me give them to you. There are 3 qualities that a level 4 leader does very well. Number 1 is recruiting. Level 4 leaders recruit well. I was having lunch one day with my friend Lou Holtz, and we were talking, and he's such a funny guy. He was a great coach. He was a football coach in college. He coached 6 different teams. Every team that he went to as a coach had a losing record the year before he arrived, and every team within 2 years that he did coach went to a bowl game. And, Notre Dame became a national champion under him. So Lou Holtz and I were having lunch one day, and he said, John, I've coached good players and I've coached bad players. He said, I'm just a better coach with good players. And I just laughed and said, boy, isn't that true with all of us? We're all a better coach. We're all a better leader with good people around us. And so level 4 leaders, they really reproduce themselves, and they develop people well. And there's a reason why they recruit so well. They have a clear picture of the person they want on their team. And this is essential to the success of your business. The better person I recruit, the higher my odds that I can really develop that person to great success. And this is essential for my development. So, when people, sometimes they'll pick me up at the airport, and they don't know who I am. They've never seen me before. And so there's 2 ways they pick me up. One is sometimes they just send somebody to pick me up, and I go to the baggage area, and there's some person there with hand in the air with my name on it. And basically that person says, I don't know what you look like, but if you'll just look and see your name up here, you come up, identify yourself, you find me, and then I'll take you to where you have to go. And that's the way a lot of people recruit leaders. They just say, we need leaders. We need leaders. They got the sign in the air. But there's another kind of person that, when I walk into the baggage area, they come right up to me and they shake my hand and they say, hey, John, we came to pick you up. Now, how did they know? Well, they went online. They saw my picture. They maybe have a book that has my picture. But they had a picture of me before they got to the airport. And so when they saw me, they immediately knew to connect. Well, highly successful leaders, that's what they do really well. They have a picture of who they want to recruit and the qualities they're wanting to see in that person. And so when they see it, in fact, I tell people all the time, I wrote a book called the 21 Qualities of a Leader. And I tell them all the time, it's nothing but a picture book of what a leader looks like. I said, get those 21 qualities of a leader, and then when you do your interview, look for those different qualities, and when you find one, check it off, and after a while, you know whether you've got a potential leader or not. But at level 4, these leaders, they do a really good job with recruiting. Secondly, they do a real good job with positioning people. In other words, when they it's the Jim Collins stuff, okay? You got to get people on the right bus. Well, you not only need to get them on the right bus, but you need to get them in the right seat, okay? And they really understand the value of positioning people, and the fact that find out what their strength is and then put them there. And I tell leaders all the time, this is a totally different lecture, but I say when you're looking at your people and you're trying to position them, you have to ask 3 questions that start with an R. What are they required to do? What gives us the greatest return when they do it? The results. And thirdly, what's rewarding to them? And every leader needs to find out of every player. What do you have to do? What's required of you? What are you really good at? What gives you the great return? And what do you love? What's rewarding to you? And when you find those 3 things, you position them according to the 3 R's, and all of a sudden they begin to really produce well and begin to succeed well. There's one more quality of a level 4 leader, and that is they just equip really good. They're good equippers, okay? They just know how to help people become successful in the business. Now, I have the largest equipping organization in the world. We've trained over 6 million leaders in every country of the world. We're the only company that has done it that much. And we really know how to equip people. And I'm going to just take maybe 2 minutes, and I'm about to wrap up the talk. But there are 5 steps to equipping people really well. And they're simple steps, and every one of you can do them. But if you will do them, I will promise you'll begin to reproduce other people and reproduce other leaders under you. So let me give you those 5 steps. First of all, step 1 is I do it. And just simply put, before you train anybody to do anything, you have to do it yourself. Again, what did I say? People do what people see. So the first step of equipping somebody really is you do it yourself. Now, once that you have done it successfully yourself, which is really a level 3 leader, now you bring somebody alongside of you and you go to step number 2. Step 1 is I do it. Step 2, I do it and you're with me. And now we're going to spend some time and you're going to watch me do what I do really well. And the reason you're going to watch me is because leadership is visual. Stanford research says 89% of what you and I learn and know, we saw visually first. 10% audio, 1% through the other senses. And so I do it and you're with me. Well, you're with me. You're watching me. And after I, finish the sell, you're asking me questions. How did you do that? And why did you say that? And what made you go over there? And so it's I do it stage 1 or step 1. Step 2 is I do it and you're with me. Step 3 is you do it and I'm with you. Anyway, there comes a time when I just hand the baton off to you and say, here, it's yours now. You run with it. It's all yours. And now I'm coaching you. Now you're playing the game, and I'm tweaking you. I'm making you better. After you do that sales call, we sit down. And I say, now, okay, let me give you a couple of observations, and I make you better. I make you better. And then step number 4 in that equipping process is you do it. I mean, there comes a time when I say, hey, it's yours. You got it. Now, here's where the equipping failure begins. Most equipping in most companies stops at step 4. I do it, you're with me. You do it, I'm with you. You do it. Well, once you do it, I say, okay, I've equipped them. But there's another step, and this is where the magic is in level 4 leadership. Step number 5 is they do it and someone is with them. Simply stated, here's how this works. We never equip anybody who doesn't make a commitment to equip somebody else. So our equipping never stops with the person we equipped. It continues and reproduces itself on a multiplication level. Level 4 leaders, they recruit well, they position well, and they equip people extremely, extremely well. Now, I'm going to wrap it up by level number 5. I really don't need to teach level 5 because level 5 is automatic. You see, on level 1, the company gives you that. Levels 2 and 3 and 4, you earn. Level 5 is what I call the pinnacle level. The key word at this level is respect. And at this level, people follow you because of who you are and because of what you've done. You truly now are bigger than life. And they look at you and they just say, you're an amazing person. This is where you begin to live a life of significance in your life and in the life of others. This is incredible. I'm talking about connecting with people. So in Developing Leader 2.0, one of the chapters I have in it is on serving people. And so I'm going to give you these 5 things that I really work on in serving. Number 1 is I don't rely on my position or title. Okay? I don't rely on it. Jesus said, you don't want to rely on those things. In fact, when I'm speaking in a convention many times in the green room, they'll come in with my bio and they'll say, now this is what we're going to introduce you with and the whole deal. And I'll say, do you really have to do that? I say, well, how do you want us to introduce you? I said, well, just tell them my name's John. I'm their friend. I'll come out on the stage and I'll talk to them. You see, I learned a long time ago, if you're good, you don't need an introduction. And you can't tell you something, if you're bad, a great introduction won't help you. I've listened to some speakers and I've just thought, well, could we go back to the introduction? It was better. It was just better. And the second thing I've done is I choose to believe in people. And I choose to not only believe in people, I choose to believe in their potential. It was my father who gave me the great advice. Believe in people, value people, unconditionally love people. If you'll just do those 3 things, John, he said, you'll have an incredible ministry. So when I go to these conventions, they always walk me in the back way. And, the crowd's out there and they're walking me in the back way, taking me to the green way. So in every convention in America, I walk through the kitchens most of the time. So, it's just, you just show me a kitchen of a convention center and I can tell you where it is. I'm just really major on kitchens. And they're walking me through the kitchen and they're trying to rush me through and the people are there and I just love to mess them up and I walk real slow. And I'm not real slow. I introduce myself to them and ask them what they do, will they serve, or, and sometimes I'll pull my camera out and say, let's take a picture. Can I have a picture of you? And they're just loving it. They're loving it. And the people they're just not loving it at all. And I just love messing with them. You know what I'm doing? I'm valuing people. I'm just trying to be Jesus-like. Just trying to value people. I try to see things, number 3, I try to see things from the perspective of others. And number 4, I create an environment of encouragement. I try to create an environment of encouragement. It was my father who said, John, encouragement is the oxygen of the soul. Such a great man, such a great encourager. In fact, I was just with him a few days ago, and he's 97 now. And in fact, I got a picture of him. Want to see a picture of my dad? Here's Dad, right there. There's Dad. Look at him. Doesn't he look good? 97. Doesn't he look great? I got good genes. There's hope for me, baby. I'm telling you. Hey, 20 years from now, I'm going to still be here teaching away at Christ Fellowship. You know what I mean? Just having a good time. And Dad, so I was talking to Dad. We were taking him out to lunch. And I said, Dad, as long as I live, you're going to live. I mean, you may die, but you'll still live.
because I love people like you love people. And I want to add value to people, and I want to serve people like you. And so I'm talking to him about all the things I'm doing. And I said, just remember this, Dad. You know, you're 97, but as long as I live, you're going to live because we're going to serve people. And my dad just listened to all that. And when I get that, he just raises both hands and says, hallelujah, hallelujah. And you know, he's had 2 strokes, and he's broken 6 ribs. And he just keeps coming back. I mean, I keep thinking, okay. And it just keeps coming back. I just think, okay, we'll plan the service, and it just pops back up. In fact, I nicknamed him now. He loves this. I call him now Daddy Lazarus. Isn't that great? I just call him Daddy Lazarus. I said, we just put you away for dead, and you come back up, and you just keep coming back. You just keep coming. You just keep coming back, huh? And the 5th thing is, I measure my success on how much value I add to other people. Wow. So let me tell you. Let me wrap it up with a story here. I was in my 2nd church, and I was really wanting to grow it, and it was really growing, and I was spending a lot of time with leaders, building leaders, training leaders, helping them help minister to others, equipping the saints to do the work of the ministry. That's what I was really doing. And it was really going well, and so I was very busy. I spent an incredible amount of time working with leaders, teaching them how to lead people, train people. So here we go. And one day on my schedule, I noticed that a person was coming to my office, and I didn't know who they were, but I knew they weren't on my leader list. So I asked my sister, I said, it was a fellow by the name of Brent Johnson. I said, who's Brent Johnson? And she said, you know, Pastor, he's not a leader, but she said, he really wants to see you for a few moments. And so I said he could see you, and I wasn't, be honest with you, I wasn't really happy, because I thought, okay, I'm trying to train leaders, and here comes this guy, I don't even know who he is. So he comes into the office, and I wish I could act like I was saintly, but I wasn't saintly. Okay, I'm just not that good enough. You know, my dad's a saint. When he goes to heaven, he'll be right beside Jesus. When I go to heaven, I'll be in some outlet with a satellite somewhere. You know what I mean? Okay. And so he came in. He came in, and so I looked at him and I said, okay, how can I help you? And he looked at me and said, I didn't come to ask for help. Okay. What do you need? He said, nothing. Okay. Why are you here? And he said, I'm here because I'd like to serve you. He said, I'm not a leader. I don't have leadership gifts. And I've been for the last 2 months. He said, I love what's happening in our church. And for the last 2 months, I've been asking God how I can serve you, what I can do for you that'll help you lift the load. And he said, I have this idea now. And he said, I'd like to throw it by you, okay? And I said, well, sure, what is it? He said, you have to do errands. You're busy and have things. I said, yeah. He said, okay. He said, I would like to come in at Thursday noon every week, and I would like to do all of your errands for you so you don't have to spend your time doing that. He said, I'll do your dry cleaning. I'll go wash your car. He said, just make the list. He said, of all the money. And he said, that way you can spend more time with leaders. He said, would you let me serve you? And by this time I'm crying, and I'm saying, well, yeah. But before you serve me, would you just pray for me to get saved again? Woe is me, I'm very unclean. Right? Are you with me? Huh? Would you just pray for me to, and for 7 years, every Thursday, he'd come and do errands for me. It changed my life about adding value to people and serving people, because sometimes when people say, well, I don't know if I could do that. I don't even know if I have those kind of, listen to me. The moment that we really have a desire to add value to other people, our whole life will begin to change. And so if 2019 is going to be the year that we really want to make it, I'm going to share with you right now 5 things I do every day. And I want you to do them every day in this year. And I will promise you, your life is about to incredibly change. And all 5 of these things I'm going to give you right now, you can do them. These aren't hard. These aren't complicated. So look at your neighbor you're sitting beside and say to them, even you can do this, okay? Tell me, even you can do this, okay? All right, here we go. Every day, number one, every day I value people. And that's the foundation of everything we're talking about. If I don't value people, I'll never add value to them. I'll manipulate them. I'll do all kind of bad things. But it all begins with valuing people. Does that make sense to you? So every day I value people. By the way, that's Jesus-like. That's what Jesus, if you say you want to be Christ-like, just value people. Every day I value people. Number 2, every day I think of ways to add value to people. In other words, I'll look at my schedule in the morning, and I'll say where I'm going to go, who I'm going to see perhaps, and I'll say, okay, what can I do to add value to those people? I think of ways to add value to people. Number 3, every day I look for ways to add value to people. So that when I'm with you, I'm looking for something. What can I do for right now? What can I do for them that would add value to them? So every day I value people. Think of ways to add value to people. Look for ways to add value to people. Number 4, every day I do things that value people. Every day. In fact, at the end of the day, the last thing I do every evening is I do a 10-minute inventory of my day. And one of the questions I ask is, who did I add value to today? Who did I serve today? Okay? Every day. Every day. I value people. Think of ways to add value to people. Look for ways to add value to people. Do things that add value to people. And number 5, I encourage others to add value to people. I do those 5 things every day. And I'm just telling you, if you'll just do those 5 things every day in 2019, and every one of you can do that. If you'll just do those 5 things every day, 2019 will be unbelievable to you. So you got them written down, don't you? And on all the campuses, you've got them written down, because I'm going to have you all stand. And here and all the campuses, I'm going to have you stand. And while you're standing, pastors, you can come up to the front, because when we're done with this little 1-minute exercise, it's yours. But let's all stand right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to repeat those 5 things, okay? We're going to repeat those 5 things that we're going to do, okay? Are you ready? Huh? And now I'm going to find out who took notes. See, okay, are you ready? Okay. Every day I value people. Every day I think of ways to add value to people. Every day I look for ways to add value to people. Every day I do things that add value to people. And every day I encourage others to add value to people. And if you'll do that, 2019 will be your greatest year. So I'm going to give you, in closing, I'm going to give you 5 things that I do every day to add value to people, okay? And this is going to work. This is going to work for you. And by the way, this is you. Every one of you can do this. Every one of you can do this. So look at your neighbor and say, even you can do this. Go ahead and say, all right? Even you. Because there are 5 things I do every day. Every day. You say, John, what do you mean by every day? I don't want to go too deep on you. Don't want to go over your head. I mean every day. Number 1, every day, I value people. And you say, okay, when you say you value people, I mean, who do you value? Everyone. And you say, what do you mean by everyone? Everyone. Jesus created everyone. What part of everyone do we not understand? Look at the person you're seated beside and say, Jesus loves you. Go ahead and tell them that. Jesus loves you. Look back and say, Jesus loves me. Yeah, he does. Look back at him and say, Jesus loves people I don't even know.
Yeah, that's good. Oh, one more thing. Look at him and say, Jesus loves people I don't like. And let me tell you something. He loves people you don't like. He really does. If you look at the life of Jesus in the Gospels, the one thing you come after reading Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John is that man valued everybody. And the only people who didn't like it were religious people. We've got to make a decision. Are we going to start connecting with people, or are we going to keep correcting people? We okay? My name's John. I'm your friend. So every day I value people, one. Number two, every day I think of ways to add value to people. Every day I think of ways to add value to people. About a month ago, I was talking to Stephen on the phone about me coming out here, and he said you were going to be in this vision series, and he was telling that the message that wouldn't be preached by the time I got here would be, I want to make a difference. I said, well, could I preach that message for you? And he said, well, sure, if you want. So I want to. I want to. What am I doing? Before I ever got here, a month before, I'm thinking of a way to add value to you. Add value to him. I mean, I could have said, no, I got my little sugar sticks I'd rather preach. No, I've never preached this before. I developed this message just for you today. It's all yours. It's the covenant message. Nobody else gets it. They don't get it. Now, it's very simple. Why? Because I think of ways of adding value to people. Number three, every day I look for ways. I look for ways to add value to people. And let me say, you see what you anticipate. So when you anticipate of adding value to people, you start seeing ways to add value to people. Just as if most people, they don't get up in the morning and say, how can I add value to people? Most people get up in the morning and say, who's going to add value to me? We're all selfish. Are you with me? And if you don't think you're selfish, outside of the fact you don't think, if you don't think you're selfish, let me ask you a very simple question. The next time you're in a group picture, when you see that group picture, could I ask you a question? Who is the first person you look for in that picture? Now, come on now. Hey, and if you look bad, you say, oh, terrible picture, bad picture. Back here, come on, do it again. Come on, group, come on, do it one more time. Yeah, come on. And if you look good in the picture, you say, oh, great picture. Send that to me. Yeah. That's why in adding value to people, you have to be intentional, because it's not natural. The selfish nature of us is, who's going to do something for me today? But the Jesus that created us and empowers us and saves us, he wants us to add value to people. Every day, I value people, think of ways to add value to people, look for ways to add value to people. Therefore, I do things. Every day, I do things that add value to people. Every day, I do things that add value to people. Every day. Margaret and I have 5 grandchildren. They call Margaret Mimi. They call me Papa. Margaret picked the names for the first grandchild. She said, what are the grandkids going to call us? I said, I have no clue. It's not really been on the top of my agenda. Well, she said, I've been thinking about it. She said, I want them to call me Mimi. Well, I said, I like that. But she said, I don't want them to call you Pee-Pee. I said, I agree with that too. I don't want them to call me Pee-Pee. So they call me Papa. I love that name. Every year I ask God to give me a word for the year. And my word this year is Father. And I just want to be a father. I want to be they've got great fathers, but I want to be a spiritual. I want to be a Stephen. For you and Erica, I want to be a spiritual father to you. I want to oversee and love and care for and bless you. I want to be a father. I want to be a papa. And so James, who was 9 at the time, because I'm asking him all the time, okay, how are we going to add value to people? Because they know this lesson. Trust me, they know this lesson. And James, who was 9, said, I know what I'm going to do, Papa. He said, tomorrow when we go to school, I'm going to open doors for everybody. And I'm going to not only open doors, I'm going to smile and say, have a good day. Next evening he called me, he said, Papa, I had a great day. Tell me about it, James. He said, I opened 47 doors today for people, and I smiled 47 times and said, have a good day. He's 9 years old, and he's already got it figured out. I know people. Come on now. He's already got it figured out. I know people, they're 79 and they haven't figured it out. Every day, value people, think of ways to add value to people, look for ways to add value to people, do things that add value to people. Number 5, every day I encourage others to add value to people. Oh yeah, that's what I'm doing with you right now. I'm encouraging you to add value to other people. Wow. I have privileged in one of my businesses to have a coaching company called the John Maxwell Team. Some of my coaches are here today. We started 6 years ago. We now have 20,000 coaches in 142 countries of the world. Fastest growing, top coaching company. And you know what? We teach them every time they come. They come every 6 months to Orlando, and we teach all of our new ones when they come in the John Maxwell Team DNA. And right at the top of that list is we value people. In fact, I tell my coaches, you are people of value that add value to others. That's who you are. You're people of value that add value to others. If you don't value yourself, you won't value anyone else. That's what Jesus said. You got to love yourself so you can love your neighbor. Love your neighbor as yourself. And we teach that. And it's so exciting. I've got 20,000. They're my legacy. They're the legs to my legacy. I got 20,000 legs running around. Yeah, I do. Going to 50,000. It's a movement. If you want to know, I've not done this, but if you want to know how to be a John Maxwell Team coach, just go to johnmaxwellteam.com. We'll put you on a. Now, you don't want to do this unless you want to climb. We're all climbers. We're not sliders. So if you're a slider, don't go there, please, please, please. You'll mess us up. Your name is Charlie. We'll have to drag you around all the time. Every day I do those 5 things. Value people, think of ways to add value to people, look for ways, do things, and encourage others to value people. And you can do that. Every one of you can start today because today matters. Amen? Bow your heads with me, would you please? On all of the campuses, I want to thank you for allowing me to communicate to you today, and I'm going to ask the pastors on all the campuses to come forward. Because now I'm going to ask one last important question before we wrap this up. Because we're talking about making a difference. And I've shared with you my Make a Difference journey, and I know it's resonated with literally thousands of you today. But let me just talk to you for just a moment about the person that can make the biggest difference in your life. His name is Jesus. He loves you so much, he came to this earth, lived here, died on a cross, resurrected on the 3rd day to provide a relationship of forgiveness and salvation to every person that hears my voice. He can make a difference, the greatest difference in your life. With every head bowed and every eye closed, I wonder how many of you, not only in this auditorium, but the other auditoriums also, I wonder how many of you just raise your hand and say, hey, John, I know you're right, and I want to have a relationship with him. And you just raise your hand up real high all over the auditorium. And by raising up your high, you just say, John, I'm going to raise my hand because I want you to pray for me. And in a moment, I'm going to pray for you while you're in your seat that you'll begin this relationship with you. But in all the auditoriums and in this one too, would you raise your hand right now if you'd just like to know God in a personal way? Oh my goodness. Raise them up high. Raise them up high. I just like to know them. I see your hands up in the balcony being raised, over on the sides. I just like to know. Just raise them high for me, real high, just for a moment. Keep them up there for me. I'm looking at them because I want to see you so that I can pray for you in a moment. Now that you that have raised your hands, right now I'm praying for you. Lord Jesus, you see the hands that have been raised, and more important than the hands that are raised visibly, you know the heart that longs to have a relationship with you. And you said, I stand at the door of your heart and I knock. And if any person hears my voice and opens the door, you said you would come in. And these that have raised their hands, they're right now saying, Jesus, come into my life as my Savior. Come into my life as my friend. I want today to begin a relationship with you. I want you to make a difference in my life so I can make a difference in the lives of others. I pray, God, right now, you'll hear that prayer and you'll answer that prayer in the name of Jesus. And everyone said, amen. Thank you for letting me pray with you. Thank you for letting me be here today. God bless you.